Hockey Fan Report! It is a non-hockey day, but we're talking some puck. Yes, we are. A lot of stuff going on in the NHL. It is the off season. Coaches are being fired. Coaches are being interviewed. Mike Yeo is a possible, get a load of this, assistant coach in Vancouver. Wow. Draft is coming up in July. Everybody's getting ready for that. The draft nicks, all kinds of things going on. And we got some time to talk. Grandpa Moses. I do not know Grandpa Moses, but welcome, liking the flow. I appreciate that, Grandpa. Welcome to the show. This is just Guy, the Hawaii Blues fan, getting ready to talk a little bit of puck with you and all my friends. Big thank you right off the bat to John Hefner, Erickson Krieger, and Brad Pond. Oh, Brad, your birthday's on Monday. Well, this past month, did you just have your birthday or is it coming up? Which one, bud? If I missed it, I apologize. I went ahead and paid the $30 for AHL TV. The away feed sucks, but right now, our Thunder Blues are leading the Revel Rockets 3-2 in Game 3. That series is tied at 1. Coming up, okay, Brad, remind me this weekend so I can sing happy birthday to you on Monday. Pepperidge Farms. Oh, I'm sorry, Grandpa. You know, I'm getting older and older and dumber and dumber. So that's just the way it is. Older and older and dumber, and my memory's going on me. I got to get some air in here. I feel like I'm about to burn up. Ooh, baby. The Springfield's having an amazing season. And I look at that roster, and it just makes you think. You know, you look at this roster, and you've got. Let's kind of go over this real quick, right? Matthew Kessel, he's a defenseman that we could be seeing very shortly. Sam Annis, Hugh McGing, Joshua Dakota, Dakota Joshua, I got that backwards. Mackenzie McCachran, Luke Witowski. I don't think Witowski's going to be with us more. Clem Costin, Will Byton, Kelly Rosen. You've got Hoffer and Lindgren. Neal, I think, is going to be gone. Matthew Pekka, Kelly Rosen. You know, this is a pretty laden team with talent laden team. You know what? That would have been great if you'd have done that, bud. But no one cares. You know, very few people really care about the Blue Note fan report or the Hawaii Blues fan in that. Annis has been up. I think Annis got a cup of coffee with the Blues. I like Sam Annis. I really do. I like what he brings. I like what we've got down on the farm. And we were talking a little bit yesterday, about all the free agents that Colorado has and St. Louis. I could actually see St. Louis coming back with almost the exact same roster, right? I can see St. Louis not doing anything in free agency, right? Let's for instance say I don't think Perron walks. I really don't. And I know I know my buddy Lance. He absolutely thinks that there's no such thing as the hometown discount, and that not everybody loves playing in St. Louis, and I get that. But when it comes to David Perron, there is a hometown discount, and there is that. And if I'm Perron, I'm trying to get a 2 to 3 year contract, and I think the Blues want to bridge next season or the season after, so they're not worrying about him also when you have all those other contracts to sign. I know who this is now. I know who this is now. Oh my goodness. I know who this is now. Oh my goodness, I know who this is now. Now, I think he might get a little more than that, Bob. I think he gets a little more than that. Oh man, now this is a special friend of mine, right? He is part of. He's one of the reasons that I am the Hawaii Blues fan, right? And I got to tell you, him and a few others. I mean, they're the reason, right? That Vegas trip, going to the Vegas game, really introduced me into what I could be and how much better I could be, and how much more important I could be with what I knew, and that I had stuff to say that people agreed with. I make mistakes here and there, but I know who he is now. I know who he is. I can't. I've tried to watch a little bit of baseball. I got the. I know the game's still on. There might be it's in an intermission, so it might be paused right now. But yeah, I got that going. Extend ORR, re-sign 57, and bring up some of the kids. I agree with that, but what about Tarashinko? I think Tarashinko needs to get extended too. Right? I think in the offseason you extend Tarashinko, you extend ORR, and you get that off your plate right away. Right? You get that off your plate, and then you come back and see what you got. And I agree with bringing some of the Thunder Blues up, right? Costin, I'm at the point now. You bring him up in the first month, and if he doesn't prove, you cut bait, right? You trade him, right? That's not happening. I don't see it happening. I see them keeping him, right? And I got to tell you something. The reason I see them keeping him, no, I think he takes somewhat of a hometown discount. Not a great one, but I think he takes some, right? Too early for Neighbors. Neighbors needs AHL experience, right? And you've got enough other guys that I think are better than him with that have some seasoning, right? I think he needs that AHL experience. I really, really do. He's absolutely got to have that. Absolutely. Prunovich, Torpachinko, yes. Neighbors, I say no. You have Honest. You've also got McCachran, right? McCachran could come up. I think that you need. I'm really. For me, and you got Joshua too. Neighbors needs that seasoning. I think everybody's gonna, the majority of you will agree that Neighbors absolutely needs that seasoning, right? I think he does. I think he absolutely has to have that seasoning, right? Just for me, way too early to bring him into the fray. Way too early. Air blowing on me. Burning up in this house. McCachran, press box AHL. Yeah, but so if you look at, I only see us losing Well, I mean, he's still got a contract, so he's not. I don't think he's. I think he's got. Let me pull up Cap Friendly again, and look at the guys down on the farm. So on the farm, the guys that we could let go. Annis is a UFA. Joshua's a UFA. McCachran's a UFA. James Neals is a UFA. Tommy Cross is a UFA. The RFAs we've got are Will Byton, Tanner Kapczyk, Clem Costin, Hugh McGing, and Todd Nathan. I don't know. I look at this and I think on the AHL side, you know, you're going to need, I think you can sign most of those guys, right? Joshua's 26. I think you keep on to Joshua. Maybe sign him to a 1-year, 2-way deal. He's a he's a Group 6 free agent, so I think we get something for him because he hasn't acquired enough games by age 25. So I think you get a little bit for him as a Group 6. Lindgren's a UFA. I seen Lindgren getting signed. Colton Ellis, Hoffer, Cranley, they're all signed. All those guys are signed. Just Lindgren on the goalie side. So it's just the forward side. For me, I don't know, man. Okay, where are we at? I think some of those guys are ready will to be trade bait. We are more ready than spots open. Yeah, that's true. Loving the hat guy. Did you plan on eating him? Seasoning? Funny. I wouldn't be surprised if there was a lot of interest in a player like Joshua and Walker. I don't think Walker's going anyway. Joshua, Joshua's a UFA. So if they don't sign Joshua, he goes sign somewhere else. Right? Walker, on the other hand, we have signed through next year. And I don't know. I think the Blues like Walker. I really do. I think that Walker is a Berube type of player, to be honest, right? Berube type of player, to be honest. So for me, I don't see Walker running away right now. You know, I don't see him getting rid of that. For the 9 people watching on Facebook, we are on YouTube. I greatly appreciate that. If you give me a thumbs up while you're watching, I'll appreciate that too. I don't know who you are, but I appreciate it. And for the 4 watching on Facebook, greatly appreciate you. Thank you so much. You guys do a great job. The show's getting a better audience each time it's going up. No Blues hockey, and we're seeing good numbers. So I like it. I appreciate it. You know, even if no one watches the show. So I got called out by somebody saying, "Oh, only 20 people watch your show." Well, I don't give a fuck. Okay, 20 people watch the show. That's 20 people that like what I got to say. Right? That's what matters, right? Matt would like to see Dakota signed. I kind of would too. Whatever happened to Eric Foley that we signed as a first round? He got 2 concussions back to back, and he's retired. Right? I know Jim Thomas did a story on him a couple of years ago, and he's just done. Mean Girl Hockey, watching from Canada. Thank you. Greatly appreciate that. We do our best. I'm not the greatest or the smartest or the most good looking, but he got 2 concussions from the same player, right? Same player. Quality over quantity with this group, guy. Well, that is except for you. You're the one without the quality there, Matlow. He's going to get me. I really like Walker and Joshua, but I could see us getting a solid veteran with the other team retaining a lot of salary for a trade for these young guys. Well, Walker, you can trade. Joshua, you can't, right? Unless you re-sign him and then try and trade him, right? I think you need to see what the interest is in him in first. And he may not even go out in the free market. He may just go to the Blues and say, hey, I think right he can't do anything right now because of the playoffs. Right? Once the Thunder Blues are out of the playoffs, then things will happen. right? Yeah, he got him pretty close to back in one of Guy's music videos. We can always do that for you. They need old school Rob Ramage type demon. While you mentioned Ramage, Ramage is actually at the game right now. He is a scout. Not only is he a coach for the Blues Hockey Warriors, which I have my jersey up right here, right? The Warrior Hockey. And he is also a scout for the Montreal minor league scout for the Montreal Canadiens. So he's very interested in this, and I'm wondering if he's seeing Joshua, if that might be somebody that Montreal might be looking at. Montreal needs to just completely rebuild, 100% rebuild, right? That's how I feel about it. Appreciate you there, Mean Girl Hockey. Appreciate you completely. Wow, numbers going up a little bit. Yay! Well, up and down. Doesn't matter. So what do you guys want to talk about? So for me, I'm looking at this. I'm wondering if how much this layoff is going to help or hurt the Avalanche, right? And I got to come up with a term to say for them because I hate saying Avalanche. Shocky's popping in and out. Some of Delta and Charlie created a team for a tournament in Brentwood and trying to figure out sweater colors and name is goals for gas. You know what, bud? I'd sponsor you if I had $1 to do it, man. I'd sponsor you guys in a heartbeat. And I think you know that. I absolutely think you know that, right? I'm with you, Kevin. I'm with you, Kevin. Shocky, if I could sponsor you guys, you know I would. You absolutely know I would. Call you the Blue Note Fan Report goals for gas, right? Or the St. Louis, the STL Fan Report.com goals for gas. That's a good one. They may heal up, but that rust, there's going to be a lot of rust on them, right? And the injuries are starting to pile up. And the one thing that they're going to face in the East that they really have not faced, well, they did face until they hurt him, is a good goalie, right? They haven't faced an elite style goalie. And of the one, you look at who's remaining, both Shigerskin and Vavilevsky are elite, right? And I'm sorry, I know I'm very close on that word. I don't like to use that word, but I think Bennington showed in this playoffs that he can be elite too, right? I really like what Bennington had to show. I think he's good. Chris, and I say this, and I hope you don't take it. My biggest fear is that you guys don't, you forget about me, out of sight, out of mind, that I don't matter, that I'm not part of that team. And it means a lot to me. And I know being 4,000 miles away, it's hard to explain that. But I just hope that you guys do keep me as part of the team and think of me as part of the team. That's all I can hope for, man. That's all I can hope for. All right. Didn't get my article finished. Had a rough day in the head. Happens. I'll be working on that. I'm waiting on Ashley. Ashley said she'd be along. Hopefully she will be. Oh, Frosty, how you doing? Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. I think the Avalanche, I think this long layoff is going to hurt the Avalanche a lot. A lot. It kind of was an embarrassment, to be honest. Yeah, I got to tell you. I mean, I don't want to. I've been yelled at for beating dead horses. Been doing that a lot lately, but I look at that play and I've watched. Even the game I watched today, I saw a cross check that was worse than the one Kadri took. It was after the play. It was even after the play. Guy, Springfield player. I didn't see which one it was. After the goal, he's standing there. This is defenseless to me. Standing there and gets cross-checked right in the back. Don't call. That's defenseless. I didn't think Kadri was defenseless. Right? Not sure what you mean about the neutral zone there, Matt. Well, that's usually what I talk about. That's the one place that I think the Blues can get better in. I really do. I think it's the only part of their game that it's one of the parts of their game that if they elevated it, it would definitely lead to more wins. And we were not that far off. We were 10 points, 5 wins. 5 wins. 5 wins from winning the okay. Now I get it. Yeah, that's a dead horse I beat too. We were 5 wins away from winning the division. Right? We had what was it? And this is the thing. I wasn't harping on defense like everybody else was until I read this stat. Right? And I think we were 9, 17, and 11 in games where we scored 3 goals or less. Right there. You got to be able to win those 3-2 games, 2-1 games, 1-0 games, and we didn't. Right? We consistently won the games where we scored 4 or more, and that is. And I wrote about it in the article I wrote called. Where is it now? I know I had it up. Wrong article. I'm bringing it up. Give me a second. I called it the St. Louis Blues. They are who we thought they were. This is on Inside the Rink at InsideTheRink.com. And in that article, I'm going to try and bring it up, what I put in there. It was a stat that really it blew me away. Yeah, 9, 17, and 10 in games they scored 3 or fewer, and they were 40, 5 and 1, scoring 4 and more. She should be with us. Oh, there she is. Oh my goodness. Well, that is why she is dealing with a child. I don't want to say I don't want to put that up when I probably shouldn't. So she might be along in a few minutes. She's got to take care of. What do you think the Blues should do in the off season? That's a good question. To be honest, I see one piece, right? But I don't know where that piece. To me, the question mark is Letty, right? The question mark is Letty. First of all, Letty was a $5 million player. We only played him 2.5, but he was a $5 million player. And with that being said, is that where we want to spend our money? We have $9 million. We have 4 guys, right? That's what I thought, and you gave me all kinds of crap about it yesterday. St. Louis Blues fan, you gave me all kinds of crap about that yesterday. You really did. I think that the big question mark is Letty, right? And let's see here. Bitten again. So our boys are now up 4-2 on the Rockets. Will Bitten gets a second of the one. Yeah, I get you, Ashley. Ashley will be along in a little bit. I sent the invitation out, so maybe somebody else pops up. I don't know. I get a good D-man, but it just what? Here's a question that I was pondering, right? When you look at a head case that I don't want, guy that cares more about the name on the back than the name on the front, right? That's all I need to know about him, right? That's all I need to know about him. Guy that cares more about the name on the back than the name on the front, right? I don't. I don't. I don't think. Well, Perron, I think isn't going to eat up as much of it as you think he is. No, absolutely not. $7.5 million for Tarashinko and O'Reilly is not overpaid. Not any close. Well, so you look at the $9 million. You have 4 guys. Husso. You have Husso, Letty, Bozak, and Perron. Bozak, I don't see signing him. You let him walk. You bring up a young guy that's at 750 or $1 million less. So there's $1 million away. And the same thing with goalie, right? You sign, they're all at $6.5 million. That's not overpaid, right? I think one of those guys at 6.5 didn't have a great season, but there's different reasons for that. I'm not as down on Pareco as everybody else is. And part of this is the type of chess player I am. I don't like sacrificing, so I could see that. That I don't think so. I do not think Perron. I think Perron, again, stability. It depends on how long they're going to go with him, right? I think you let Bozak walk. Bozak was on the market and got no interest from nobody else but the Blues for $5 million, or not $5 million, for entry or league minimum $750,000, right? They were a good pairing. Pareco in some ways is, and I hate to use the word soft, but he doesn't play with an edge, right? If he played with more of an edge, he would definitely elevate his game, and he needs to play with an edge, and he doesn't, right? I heard that beep. The poo machine is here.
The mom of the poo machine is here.
How are you doing, Miss Ashley?
I'm all right. And real quick, I want to shout out to all you guys out there that like to message me whenever guys live. I appreciate it. Sometimes I got to work. Sometimes I'm dealing with kids.
See, this is how bad they don't like me and they'd rather have you. They're messaging you, telling you to get on the show.
Actually, yes, and they'll send me it. And I had just had to tell E, I love you, E, and I'm not trying to call you out, but he sends me the link to the show all the time. And I'm just like, dude, I get the YouTube notification, the Twitter, and Facebook. I know when he's live.
So much that he sends you the link to my own show that you have automatically can just get on.
I mean, yeah, but I mean, he's sending me the link to watch it.
Oh, okay.
He doesn't have the link to get on, but I mean, he wants me to, be on. He wants me to know you're on, but I know when you're on.
Who is that, E or Ian?
E.
Oh, E. I thought you said Ian.
No. And he's hilarious. I love it. I love all of you guys that are messaging me, and I'm sorry I haven't been on much.
No, we love you. Colt 55 is softer than 10 ply. Ask Ashley about that right now. Jesse Pulvardi is a top-line winger on the Oilers. Army is really interested in him. I hope not, right? This is a guy who wouldn't sign a contract with the Oilers and went and played in the KHL. Right? I don't want to play for you. Well, that's a guy that cares more about the name on the back than the one on the front. And I don't want a guy like that in our locker room. Which one?
Matt.
Oh my goodness, these guys! I get it. Actually, I've had a few, and while they're doing that, at the same time, they're telling me, "Oh man, we enjoyed you being by yourself. Oh, sometimes you're better by yourself, right?" Yeah. While they're telling you to get on the show and join me, you got to love it, right? Duality.
Well, you need your filter. I think what they mean is they like it when it's you. They like when I'm on there to keep you on track, but I usually don't talk a whole lot. So even when it's me and you're doing a lot of the talking. But like when we get like 4 or 5 people, which I love all of our guests, it might be too much.
Yeah, sometimes. But I mean, I'm trying to keep it down to you, me, and 2 guests. Mm-hmm. Right? I'm trying to keep it down to that. Sometimes I can see 5 working if done right. Like when we do a preview show or something like that. Yeah. Then you need, the more voices is better. And you can, jump around and get more, more stuff like that. But on the a regular show, you got to back off a little bit. Our boys and our Thunder Blues are having themselves a night right now.
Yeah, it sounds
they're
like
up 4-2 with 15-13 to go in the third.
And you said Will Bitten had 2 goals?
Will Bitten's got 2 goals. Yep. right? Bitten's got 2. I think Annis got 1, and I can't remember who got the other one. Right?
Gotcha. Trying to catch up on the comments that I missed.
He definitely talks about everybody else. You balance him out. I'm a little, what do you call it? Pinballish, but again, I don't want the show to have so much structure that you're missing out on what these guys want to talk about, because that's important.
No, I'm with you 100%. I mean, like, there are some things that I know that I want to talk about tonight, but we'll see if we get there.
Sometimes on the fast lane text line called him, someone on the fast lane text line called him Colton Pareco. He's so soft. I don't think he's, that's not, I don't want to call him soft. He doesn't have an edge to him. Danny, you don't want to know, my friend. You do not want to know.
My 5-year-old is nonverbal autistic, and she likes to play with her poop.
She likes to paint pictures.
On the wall or the ceiling or,
Oh, I'm squirrely. I don't know about squirrely. Squirrely has a negative incantation to it. I don't think I'm squirrely. Right?
In the sense, I would consider him more like a dog. Like, he gets, oh, look at here. Oh, over here. Like a hound that's got to sniff everything.
You mean squirrel? Squirrel?
Yeah. The dog looking for the squirrel.
Yeah, okay. Not that I get. Okay, that I don't take so bad. Mm-hmm. Where are we at? Colton Pareco is an interesting player. Colton Pareco is one of those guys that I think somebody needs to. Here you go. This one's for you, Ash.
Thanks, Kevin.
Colton Pareco is one of those guys that, he needs to be. You know who he needs to be? I don't know if this is going to work right, but he needs to be Gary Unger in a way. Gary Unger was kind of sort of 2 different people off the ice, on the ice and off the ice, right? But then again, I think about it. No, a lot of times he was the same guy on and off the ice. It's now that he's the 2 different people. But
okay. So I have a different philosophy when it comes to Colton Pareco. I think that this fan base just wants him to so badly beat Chris Pronger that not necessarily is the problem with Pareco. It's our expectations. We have him so high that he will never live up to them. Right. I think that overall, if you let Colton Pareco be Colton Pareco, he's not bad. But whenever he's got this pressure to be what he's not going to be very effective. So if everybody just lets him play his game, he'll make those smart defensive plays, but he isn't going to be the mean guy. He isn't going to go, for the throat or the jugular.
Yeah, but one of the things that they've been, you constantly hear the coach has been telling him to shoot the damn puck for a long time.
And he was actually shooting this.
He started to late in the Colorado series. Why wouldn't Petro come back for like $4 million? Because he's making $9 million now.
Yeah, and he got his no trade, or no movement.
No movement, right? Petro. It wasn't the money for Petro. It was the stability.
He wanted his kids to go to the same school and know.
He wanted to have a place where there was some stability. He has kids. His kids were just now, they're 4 and 5 years, are hitting that 4-year-old mark, preschool type age. And that's what he was looking at. Bettman News. No, I did not. I did not see that.
Can you give us the 411, Danny?
Spectrum. He graduated Sunday. Been a long, hard road getting there. Well, congratulations, Kevin.
Yeah, congratulations to him,
and Kevin, and I need to ask you this, and I know it's online, but whatever. Did Mike Zook get a hold of you? Just a yes or a no, so I know if I need to follow up on that. I'm trying to do it the right way, so I want to know if he got a hold of you. What was the Bettman News, Danny? I didn't see it. He had high expectations, but he never played to the. Pareco was like Bergeron when he played for us, somewhat. But I think Pareco has met a lot of those expectations Why did we give him a no trade clause? He'll be an elite. It wasn't the no trade clause. St. Louis, we talked about this yesterday. There's a difference between a no trade clause and a no movement clause. If we'd have given Pietrangelo a no movement clause or no trade clause, they could have left him unprotected during the expansion draft. And he did not want to go to an expansion team. He did not. He did not want to go to Seattle or if there's another expansion team that comes up. He also didn't want to be, the no movement also prevents a buyout. Right? Uh-huh. Even though the Blues never buy anybody out, that's Armstrong. You don't know tomorrow Armstrong gets fired and the next GM comes in and buys everybody out and says, I want to start over. That is okay, Kevin. I'm gonna reach back out to him, bud. I'll reach back out. God damn. Sorry about that, man. I am trying. No, I'm trying. Right? No, I'm trying. He'll be good for the who will be good? Are you still talking about Petro? Petro's already on that downward slide. He's already on that downward slide.
STL Blues fan 91 has been saying that Pareco's good.
Well, he was talking about Pietrangelo. Nitro was talking about Petro. Or Nitro was talking about
Nitro's talking about Pareco sucks. STL Blues fan has been talking about how Pareco is good.
Okay. Yeah, well, maybe you're with me. If the Rangers versus Lightning goes to 7, it's not going to be at MSG. Why not? It will be at MSG unless something's going on that they can't have it there.
I guess that's the announcement, but.
Wow. Oh, wow.
Okay, I guess STL Blues fan is talking about Petro.
Okay.
Petro's gone. I mean,
yeah. Well,
Petro's gone.
No, what it handicapped. No movement clauses handicap teams. There were teams that lost players to the expansion because of their team having players that had no movement clause. A no movement clause gives the player more power than the owner of the team. And the player should never have that. And that's what it is. That's why. Right? St. Louis Blues fan, this is what we talked about yesterday. You having that cup fever. He was not bringing us the cup. He would not have. I mean, this is the same. You're talking about the guy, the captain of a team that allowed another player to sit on him and shove a glove in his face and not do anything about it.
So, in other league news.
Okay, you bring it up now.
Okay. Boston Bruins fired their coach.
Yep.
And in an article, I read that Pastrnak will not re-sign a contract as long as they keep the current GM.
Yeah, I also heard that Pastrnak wasn't going to stay if Cassidy was still the coach.
Now it's if they have the same GM. He's really mad about the way that Krug was treated. I guess him and Krug were BFFs or whatever.
Yeah.
So there is a chance that Pastrnak will be traded this season because they're not going to want to just let him go if he's not going to sign an extension.
Yeah. Well, is he a UFA
after this season?
After this season, yeah.
Yeah. So they're not going to want to lose him for nothing. So they'll probably move him.
Pietrangelo was elite when we had him. He's not elite now. Say again?
He got the other name for me, Krejci.
Krejci, yeah. No, I can see that. I can see that. Yeah, they didn't treat Krug right, but I'm glad they didn't treat Krug right.
And you know what? Yes, O'Reilly is a better captain. Absolutely.
I agree with that. I agree with that.
I feel like
the only issue I have with O'Reilly is he takes too much on his own.
I felt like there were times that Pietrangelo didn't have that accountability, and O'Reilly's the opposite. He takes too much accountability.
Too much accountability.
I mean, but I would rather have somebody that's accountable too much than too little. So I definitely think O'Reilly
Our
is
system,
better.
St. Louis Blues fan, our system has changed. You know, you're playing with Pietrangelo on NHL 22, not Pietrangelo in real life. Pietrangelo in real life would not be elite here in St. Louis. He was a turnover machine. He was a power play guy, not a penalty kill guy, and we needed a penalty kill guy, right? It is 5-2. T-Bird or T-Blues.
Baby Blues. The Baby Blues.
I don't like Baby Blues because, you know, like to call them I like the Thunder Blues. I think that works a little bit better. The Thunder. You know what? You know what I think is really interesting is the Calder Cup could be the Battle of the Blues. Right? And I'll explain that in a second. Oh! See if Ashley figures out what this means.
Will got his Hattie.
Will got a Hattie. Now I look like Thing. No, was it Thing or Uncle? Oh, Uncle Fester. I look like Uncle Fester. Now that is the one that if
you don't look like Uncle Fester. Uncle Fester had no hair. You look like Cousin It.
Oh, was it Cousin It that had all the hair?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah. Maroon was, we had young guys we want to bring up and sign. We need that type of player. We need that. Okay, now they're going to get me.
Yep.
It's not that you know what? For a player that's not good, he's got 3 rings working on 4. That's saying something. Right? I disagree with that. He's not that good. He for what his role is, he's one of the best. Right? He's one of the best. He brings energy to his team. He gets under the other team's skin
without necessarily being overtly dirty. Like his role is pretty much similar to Wilson, and but he doesn't do it by being super bad. He doesn't do it by
penalty kill guys. Right now, O'Reilly is great. O'Reilly. And,
I think he means like over Pietrangelo.
Over Pietrangelo, Pareco and
Bortuzzo's been killing it on the PK.
Who?
Bortuzzo killing it on the PK.
Yeah. Bortuzzo, yeah. Right.
I mean, that man can still kill a penalty without a stick. He'll take shot after shot.
He killed off what, a minute of a 5-on-3 with no stick.
Yep. I mean, I would rather have him
3 shots doing it.
I mean, when Lance went on his tirade about, we shouldn't have signed Bortuzzo, I just went back to that, and I was like, we absolutely needed to sign Bortuzzo. He didn't get too much money, and he didn't get too much term, so I'm okay with it.
I absolutely like Bortz. So I was at my local Subaru dealership Monday and ran into Vegas Golden Knights fan that worked there. He walked by me and said, "Go Knights," and I said, where are they at this year? And he said they were sleeping. I just laughed. I like Bortuzzo. I really do. I think Bortuzzo, while he's getting up there in age, has done. I agree. I almost thought that was other. I like Mikkola. I think Mikkola is going to get a decent, contract.
I hope so too.
I think he's going to get some good money.
He's going to be coming back. He's one of the restricted
free agents, yeah.
So he's coming back. The ones that we got to worry about a little bit is Perron, but I'm pretty sure he's going to sign a deal. Husso's going to be gone. Letty
and Bozak are gone.
Letty may. It just depends on how much money he wants. If he wants to take a friendly deal where he's only going to get like $4 million a year, we might be able to swing it. But if he wants 6 or 7, no.
I think it's going to have to be 3. Mm-hmm. Right? I think for
I was reading an article, and the the way they broke it down, he could stay if it was 4, and Perron also took a team-friendly deal. But
okay, if Perron, here's the problem: if Perron takes 4 and Letty takes 4, that's only $1 million left, and you have 2 more roster
actually,
spots to
apparently,
fill.
it's $2 million left. I was wrong. It's $10 million.
It is 10 mil.
Mm-hmm.
I was looking at 9.
Yeah, no. According to oh gosh, who writes for The Athletic again?
Jeremy Rutherford.
According to Rutherford, it's 10.
Okay. Well, Cap Friendly may not update. I know they've come out and said that the cap was going to be 82.5, but I don't know if they've actually, set it in stone yet, right? Or put it out to, because the new league hasn't started yet, right?
Yes, but what they're adding to the cap, the Blues don't get to use because they're getting fined it for the bonuses for both.
You know what? I'm gonna address this. You know what? You're not set for life. You could give me $10 million for 1 year, and I guarantee you, at the age of 19, you're not set for life. That $10 million. First of all, let's talk about that $10 million. Over half of it is going to go away in taxes. Over half, close to 55%, because you're not only going to pay a national tax. If you're getting it in St. Louis, you're paying a state tax, right? So drop that down. And not only that, even before you take the tax off, a mill of it or more is going to your agent. Before taxes, not after taxes, before taxes, right? And then you have other things that you need and do that you pay for. $10 million does not go as far as you think it goes. That $10 million, that $10 million would be gone in a heartbeat. Would last, I think, a $10 million 1 year, $10 million salary would last a player about 4 years. And that's living a life like we live, not like an NHL player would live. Right? So it's not what you think it is, St. Louis. It's not. Trust me. I know you said yesterday you were 16. I'm coming from, I'm 53. I've lived life. I served 20 years in the Navy. I know what it's like. I've lived paycheck to paycheck. Trust me. As much as, you dream about it, it's not as much money as you think it is. I made $90,000 a year for a couple of years, and, that didn't last me that long living where I live. Right? They are adding to the cap, but it's only $1 million.
Apparently, Scandella has a hot wife. I didn't know he was married.
Well, who's this? Actually,
your buddy Estill.
That's a 16-year-old for you.
I mean, I don't care.
Tarashinko's still going to be around.
Yeah.
Tarashinko's still going to be around. I see that. Who keeps taking their money? Well, 90 grand. No, 90 grand is not a lot of money, my friend. Especially where I live, 90 grand is actually just short of the poverty level here. 90 grand, and you think about that. I made 90 grand a year, and I was just above poverty level in Hawaii. Huh?
Wow.
Yeah. You guys all griping about gas being $5 a gallon, just now hitting $5. It's been $5 a gallon here for 4 months. 3 months, something like that. It's been $5 for a while.
That's been about 2 months here.
Yeah, so, I make, we're
at 16, that's a good wage. I mean, whenever I was 16, I was making $6 an hour.
Oh, wow. You don't want to hear what I made. You know what minimum wage was when I was 16?
Let me guess. It was probably $3.70.
That's high.
Really?
Yes. Minimum wage. There were 2 minimum wages. There was a student wage, and then there was a minimum wage. The student wage was $2.85.
Ooh.
And the minimum wage was $3.35. I worked at Taco Bell, not the one in Maryland Heights. I worked at one that had just opened on the student wage for $2.85.
Ooh.
I ended up getting hired at Lion's Choice when I was 16 and a half for $3.50 and thought I was making bank.
Well, whenever I started working, whenever I was 16, minimum wage was $5.75, but because I was willing to close, I got an extra quarter.
Yeah. So I left when I left Lion's Choice in 1987 to join the Navy. I actually worked for a bar for a little bit. I was making $5.50 an hour, and yeah, yeah, you're right there, buddy. I made $300 a month. Yeah, I was making something right around there, bud. Mine wasn't much better. I was in E3. I think I was making $450 a month in '87, $400 a month, something like that. But he's talking about being in E1. I was in E3. I was 2 ranks higher and making almost nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, Danny, I was in the Navy. I served 20 years in the United States Navy from 1987 to 2007. I was a petty officer first class. I worked in gas turbine engines, which are jet engines used to propul ships. Spent 9 years in Japan, spent 5 years in Great Lakes, Illinois on 3 different occasions, 5.5 actually. Spent 2 years, little under 2 years in Norfolk, Virginia, and then spent my last 3 years here. I think that adds up to 20 or close to it.
Close to it.
Right? 9 in Japan, 3 here, maybe 3.5 here, 3.5 or 5.5 in Great Lakes, 2 in Chicago, in that. No, I was not. I served on the U.S. I was not on a carrier. I was on smaller ships, a lot smaller ships. Chris Shockey says when he joined, it was 9. Shockey, I was making that as an E5. When did you join, Shockey? When did you come in and E1 was making that? It had to be, I actually think I know, because it had to be the Clinton targeted pay raises, right? The Clinton targeted pay raises came in at like 90, 94, 95, 96, somewhere around there, right? 97, yeah, see? I know my stuff. Yeah. I know my stuff. Right? That was the targeted pay raises. And that's for everyone who says that the military gets paid better when there's a Republican in the office, they can kiss my ass, because the best pay raises I ever got were under Clinton. I mean, I actually, and this is how I know. I'll tell you what, I've told this story before. I don't think I've told it on here, right? What's the story about the book you were reading where they sank the ship you were deployed on, something like that? Oh, I can't remember the name of the book. I think it was a Tom Clancy book. I think it was a Tom Clancy book that had it was either, the book either had the USS Yorktown in it or the USS Mobile Bay. It was one of those two. Those are the only 2 ships I've been on that were in a book. Right? When I was in the service, when I was in Norfolk, when you walked the parking lots of the ships, right, you did not see any car that was an 80. The majority of the car, well, you might have seen some early 80s, like 81s, 82s. You didn't see new cars. And you definitely, what you saw mainly were Toyotas, Fords, Chevys, and they were mid 70s, late 70s, early 80s. No luxury car, none, right? You walk, I was in Norfolk in 14, I think it was, on a business trip. Mm-hmm. And when I walked through those parking lots, man, Mercedes-Benzes, Lexuses, I mean, the luxury cars and all that, and what I see people driving now drives me nuts. No, I have not. Is it Danny's birthday? Mm-hmm. Wow. And I know yesterday was Tilo's daughter Gianna's birthday.
Yeah, lots of birthdays.
Right? Yeah, he did fall off the face of the earth. He went to Montreal, and they had just a horrible season, but they had nobody to back him up.
No, either, so. Brian Elliott was with Florida.
Oh, Elliott's with Tampa Bay. Elliott's a backup for Vasilevsky. I'm thinking of Allen. Yeah. Elliott's about to play for a Stanley Cup. Mm-hmm. right? Or could be playing for a Stanley Cup.
I doubt that they sit him or Vasilevsky to let Elliott play.
Yeah, he probably won't. He'd probably be the same thing with Allen and that. So, Danny, there is a something we do on the Blue Note Fan Report that is all for you. Are you ready? And a 1, and a 2, and a 1, 2, 3, 4. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Danny. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Danny Johnson and G. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. That was a good one. Dodge Charger with 28% APR private special. Yeah, I've seen some of those too, my friend. In fact, that's what I got. My first car, the first car I bought while I was in the Navy was a 1979 Camaro with the louvers in the back, right? It was, I paid $3,000, but it was an interest upfront loan where you had to pay the interest no matter what. So the car, and it was a 50% interest. So the car ended up costing almost $7,000.
Ouch.
Yeah, put me in all kinds of getting letters of indebtedness. Say, I made a huge payment of like a $6,000 payment. Borrowed the money from my grandmother who wasn't going to charge me so much, thinking I paid the car off. No, they just stopped telling me I had to make payments until the payments were due again. Didn't make the interest go away, none of that. Yeah, so I learned that. I absolutely learned that. Did Vegas really have more to offer for Petro? Yeah, they had the no trade clause.
No movement
clause. They offered the no movement clause, right? And you know what? He became absolutely. I do not fault Army for this. Army saw the writing on the wall. Opening day, he saw guys dropping left and right, and he went to Krug and say, "Hey, let's talk." And he brought Krug in, and that was the end of Petro. That was all on Petro. Petro was given a contract that he could have signed, and he could have gotten more money here. We actually offered him more money than they did, right? St. Louis Blues fan, it's just not going to happen.
All right, let's move on from Petro. Let's talk about Krug. I mean, honestly, I thought that he was a huge improvement.
If he wasn't injured, he's the big one. Bitten got 4. Wow.
Oh my gosh. Go Will.
Wow. Yeah. See, I said there was something about Bitten I liked, and I know I've said that before. He got called up once, right?
I thought so, or at least he played in the training camp.
Yeah, he might have played. Lance, you want to come on? The link's there if you want to come on, bud. Right? Krug's injury, I think, was the big injury that hurt us. Husso played well enough to win 1 or 2 of those games.
Absolutely, right? But our defense just wasn't there, and our offense went to sleep.
Yeah, well, I don't know how much of it was our offense going to sleep. You could definitely see that we just were not. We weren't playing coordinated. We weren't coordinating our offense with our defense. Where do you see Bennington in 5 years? Oh, that's a tough question. Right? That's a tough question.
Here?
Well, I don't know, because if he continues to play the way he's playing and into that level of a Carey Price, when he hits the third year, in 2 more years, when he hits the third year of that deal, when you can put your name down, he can start putting the no trade, the no trade list in. I think that, I think he could be gone. I think at that point,
I think he'll be here.
I don't know. I think if he's playing the way I think he can, and he will, I think he'll be gone. Lance has some interesting thoughts on Tarashinko and Matt Kechuk, and I'd love to talk to him about it if he can come on. I don't know how he's feeling, but because I don't want to put him out without him having a chance to respond. Because I agree with one, I disagree with the other.
Well, of course, right? You're going to disagree with his opinion, Tarashinko, but.
Well, Have I not been right about my Tarashinko argument from the very beginning?
Have I ever argued with you about Tarashinko?
No, you haven't. But you make it like I've got this incredible man crush love affair.
You do, though. You do.
But
I'm not saying that it's wrong.
But I haven't
I'm
been
just
wrong.
saying that you won't. You look at Tarashinko with rose tinted glasses. You don't see what he does wrong when he does make mistakes, which he does. But overall, he has improved greatly. And, I don't really harp on him. But in the playoffs and against Colorado, he did disappear. And you couldn't see that because of those glasses of yours.
Yeah. No, you know what? That was interesting. Who put it there? Danny? I would like to see that too, but it's not. Believe it or not, it's big enough, but it's not big enough. Mm-hmm. Right? And you have to understand the deck of an aircraft carrier is not what you think it is. Right? I know I've seen it. I'm trying to. It's not what you think it is. Guy has a. Maybe. Because we gave him the best chance to win. That's why Krug signed with us.
I love Krug. Like, there's nothing anyone can say about
he got it. He got it quick. I think he got it quick too.
I mean, he took about as long as Falk did. I mean, the first season was a little rocky, and then back half of that first season and into the second has been great. Right.
Yeah, T-Bird's wow, man. I think to me.
No, Tanner, no. He's my brother.
Yeah, I'll go with that. T-Bird's up 6-2. Oh, here we go. Hello, my friend. How are you?
I'm doing okay. How are you guys?
Not bad. Are you feeling okay?
Yeah, I'm not doing too bad today.
Are you ready for some debate?
I guess.
Okay, let's start with the first one. And the first one is Kechuk. I want to hear your thoughts on Kechuk, because this is the one that I kind of sort of agree with you, but I kind of disagree with you.
Oh, well, I agree with him on this.
I think most people in St. Louis get enamored with names, former players, kids, relatives, cousins, brothers. And if there was a player that played here, if he's got a cousin's brother, sister, aunt, uncle, grandma, all the Blues family, it would be so great for him to come here. And I understand that in a way. It would be neat. I think it'd be neat to see Matthew Kechuk or Brady Kechuk here. It would be neat. But a lot of people are thinking with their hearts. They're not thinking with their minds. They're not looking at all the players the Blues are going to have to sign in the next couple of years. Guys that are going to get huge pay increases, such as Thomas and Kyrou very shortly. They're also not looking at the fact that if the Blues want to sign O'Reilly, that's going to be some good money, even if he just takes a little bit more than he's making now. And if the Blues truly want to keep Tarashinko, it's going to cost him a little bit more than he's making now at the lease. So
I think that
I know what you mean. I know what you're saying. Tarashinko is not going to take less than he's making right now to stay here. He's just not. And even if he did, let's say he did. Let's say he took $6.5 million for 4 years. Let's just say that. That's $6.5 million for him. And let's say O'Reilly says, okay, guys, I just want $8 million. And they sign O'Reilly for 4 years for $8 million. And then they've got to give Kyrou and Thomas raises. They want to re-sign Perron. There's too many pieces that this Blues team wants to still have, apparently, that they cannot afford Kechuk's salary. Kechuk has already told the Flames, and I know this for a fact, he wants around $10 million or so is what he wants. And a lot of people are saying, well, he's a UFA. He's only going to sign a 1-year contract. No, that's not the way he wants to do it. He's going to make a team pay for that 1 year. But he wants a solid 6 to 8 year contract, and we know he can only get 8 years from Calgary.
Yeah.
Whether he wants to stay with Calgary is one thing. You talk to people up there, and some people on the team say yes, he has stated he wants to stay with them. You talk to some people in their front office, and they say no, Kechuk doesn't want to stay with them. But it's going to cost the team a pretty penny. And let's say the Blues offered Kechuk on an offer sheet. Let's just say this, okay?
Yeah.
Let's say they offered him $10.5 million, which is what I think it would take for him to leave Calgary. Let's just say 10.5.
Qualifying offer is 9. Qualifying offer is 9.5 because that's what he's making this year.
That's the qualifying offer. Yes, it is 9.5. But he could also go and tell them, "Hey, I'm not going to play here." If let's say the Blues offered him 10, they're going to have to give up 4 picks, and 2 or 3 of those, 2 of them is going to have to be first-round picks.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then they're going to get a second-round pick, and I believe a third-round pick. If it goes over 10-5, they have to give up 4 number 1 picks. I'm sorry, I love Matthew Kechuk. He's not worth 2 number 1s, a number 2 and a number 3. He's just not worth that. Yeah, he's a guy that can be physical. He's a guy that can lead you, but he's not the elite top 5, top 10 player in the league. He's just not. And I know if Keith Kechuk never played here, 80% of these people that say he's going to sign here wouldn't be saying it. And I'm going to tell you,
something to do with it. And
I'm going to tell you, if that was the truth, Brady could have come here because Brady loves St. Louis just as much as Matthew does.
Actually, Brady of the two, Brady is the one that has said that he wanted to play in St. Louis. I asked Brady and Matt this question, and I can't say what their answer was, but one of them emphatically said that they would like to stay here, and the other one refused to answer the question. I'm not going to say which is which, but I also have a feeling I'm also looking at what Brady just did not too long ago. He signed a 6-year deal with
Calgary,
Ottawa, and gave up a few of his free agent years.
Yep.
Right. I don't know if Matt is going to do that.
I can tell you if it's the right amount of money, Mr. Matthew Kechuk will do it. He wants to go someplace where he can win.
Right. If someone backs up and brings armored car to him and opens it and dumps it out, yes, he will sign that contract to give up some of his free agency.
The Flames front office has already said they would be willing to match anybody's offer to Matthew up to $10 million for 6 years. And would I love to have Matthew Kechuk here? Yeah, he'd be a nice piece. But it's not worth the piece we need. It's not worth giving up. I know we have a good farm system and a lot of young players.
Yeah.
But you're going to get yourself in trouble when you start giving up 2, 3, 4 first and second round picks for a guy. That's a lot of compensation.
I agree. Right? I agree. I don't think – look, I like Matt. I like Brady. Brady's game fits St. Louis's game much better than Matt's does. Matt, I don't think fits our system. I mean, he is a Berube type player, but we're looking more at speed recently. So I'm not on that. And before we get to the other part, I'll go ahead and I want you to answer it because we talked about this yesterday, Lance. Your opinion on the Avalanche having 12 contracts expiring after this season. If they don't win the Cup, they may never win it with $26 million to share with 12 contracts that need to be reevaluated.
Well, I just put a post out on Twitter, and I think if you really look at the contracts, out of those 12 contracts, there's 2 or 3 guys they probably have no intention of signing. And there's at least 5 or 6 of those 12 that are making under $2.5 million. I think they're going to be just fine. Could they take a step back? Yeah, they could. But I just don't see them all of a sudden not able to find replacements for the guys that they don't want to have. Guys like Johnson. He's 35 years old. Yeah. I think he was making $750,000 or $1 million, something like that. You can find it. There's Jack Johnsons all throughout the league. You know, there's guys like that. Kadri, I think Kadri's too full of himself. He's not going back there, and I don't think the Avs really want him. There's room there. They can keep a lot of those guys, but some of them, they're going to lose. I just don't think
they're going to lose some key pieces. They're going to lose some key. Well, the problem is it's the chemistry they're going to lose. I think that the chemistry that club has is part of the reason that they're so good, and they're going to lose a lot of that chemistry. In my eyes.
I think though they have a type of system where guys can get into it and learn it very quick. You know, it's not a defense first system like Berube's is, and a lot of guys will struggle with that system. I think the way the Avalanche play in more of an open style gives a lot more to guys that will want to come there. I think that, like I said, I think out of those 12, they're going to lose up to 5 of those guys probably. But
I see the Pacific and the Central flipping next season, right? Where we had 5 teams from the Central in the playoffs this year, and they had 3. I see that flipping. I right now I only see 1 team in the West taking steps forward, and I see every other team but one taking steps backwards. Right? I see Colorado taking a step backwards. I see Minnesota taking a step backwards. I see Dallas and the Predators taking steps backwards. I don't see the Blues taking a step backwards, but I don't see them taking a huge step forward either. But I see the Jets maybe being able to take a step forward. Other than that, Chicago's already said they're going to lose. Arizona is playing in front of a circus. You know, I just think that there's room in the Central for a team to really exert dominance on that division.
I don't think Dallas and Nashville are going to take that much of a true step back. I think Nashville over the whole season will have a better season this year than they did, or next year than they did this year. I think Dallas has got enough young talent to where they can stay where they were at and maybe improve a little bit.
They don't have the goaltending.
I think Dallas will be fine with goaltending. I'm not concerned about their goaltending really. I think the Avalanche will take a little bit of a step back. Is it going to be huge? No, I don't think it'll be huge. I do agree that the Pacific will be a little bit better this year, so we might see 4 teams in the Central and 4 teams in the Pacific make it instead of 5 and 3. Or it could reverse, and you could see 5 teams in the Pacific making it.
That's what I think is going to happen.
I really think it'll be more of the 4 and 4 thing.
Yeah.
Because even if Colorado takes a step back, I don't see them not making the playoffs.
I see them being a wild card team.
I don't see them falling that bad.
They're not going to fall that much. They're not going to fall that much.
They're going to take a bigger step back than everybody else thinks. One of the things that they're going to lose is their goaltender. Kemper's not staying there.
But Kemper wasn't the best goalie for them anyways. They were able to win in spite of some atrocious goaltending. I mean, look at how they've been able to win whenever they've had, oh gosh, what's his name?
Francoeur.
Yeah.
Grubauer?
No, Francoeur.
Francois,
yeah. That one. Yeah. They've been winning with him. So, I mean, they don't need Kemper. He's probably still going to sign there because nobody's going to give him that kind of shot. I mean, it's Darcy Kemper.
He's going to go. No, Darcy Kemper is going to get money elsewhere. There are 3 teams. There are 3 or 4 teams right now that need goaltending, and they're going to overpay for it.
Yeah, they will.
Right.
That's why I keep telling people that the Blues can't afford Husso, because there's going to be some idiot out there that's going to give him $4 to $5 million, and I don't think he's going to make less than 3 points.
I actually don't want Husso back. I honestly don't want Husso back.
Well, I don't either.
I think that we have better options. And I know you disagree with this one. I think the best option for the Blues is to go ahead and sign Lindgren to the same deal that you signed him to, another 1-year deal, right? 2-way 1-year deal. Let him back up Bennington to begin with, and if he is junk, that gives a little more seasoning to Hofer, who's had a great playoffs, by the way.
He's had a great year. I'm going to tell you right now, guy. Joel Hofer is ready to be a backup in the NHL right now. And I know people say, well, you could stunt his growth and you could do this and do that. I'm going to tell you,
I'm pretty sure Hofer's ready.
Yeah, this kid is more mature than he looks. He looks like he's 16, but he's very mature, like a 24, 25-year-old player, and he's very calm. He's very deliberate in what he does, and he doesn't get high or low. I just think you're going to do a lot worse if you re-sign Lindgren, you're going to be doing a lot worse putting him in for 25, 30 games than you will with Hofer, because they're not going to start Bennington more than 55 games, which gives the backup 28 games.
Well,
Lindgren.
I don't want Bennington starting more than 50 games.
Well,
60 games.
Lindgren has never played more than 15 games in an NHL season, and the other night in the playoff game number 2, he looked terrible. He did not. He looked why. If you looked at him then, that's the only play you seen him, you would think this is why the guy's in the AHL and not the NHL. He makes some.
That was 1 game out of 7. They went 6-0 before he lost that game.
Yeah, and Hofer started those games.
A bad game 1 out of 7.
Hofer started those games.
Yeah, I know that.
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying
game 1 out of 7.
Guy,
He's talking about Lindgren.
Oh,
I'm talking about Lindgren
came back and had a bad game.
I
Like
thought Hoffer started that game.
Nope.
No,
that was
game 2 they
Lindgren.
lost 4-2, and Lindgren was in goal. He looked terrible.
Okay.
And
Well,
you
it's
know,
been a while since he started, but yeah, I can
Lindgren
see
is
that. Okay.
Lindgren is a guy that can be on your AHL roster. If you have an injury, he can come up and play 3, 5, 6 games. He's not a guy you want to expose to the NHL and put him in there for 30 to 35 games. That's just not him. That's if you put him in 35 games, you're going to start seeing teams pick him apart because he's got some huge holes that may not show up in 4 or 5 games when people aren't used to watching him play. And I like the guy. I think it's a neat story. But if you're wanting to win and improve on your season, do you want an up-and-coming goalie and a young Joe Hoffer who's very good? Or do you want a guy that's hung around the AHL for 8-9 years and got 30?
I get it. I just, again, it's with the seasoning, but if you don't think he needs a seasoning, then bring Hoffer up and don't sign Lindgren. I'm okay with that.
In all honesty, Guy, I was with you 100% on Hoffer during the preseason. I wasn't impressed with him. I didn't like, his style of play. I thought that Ellis played better. I thought Lindgren played better. But whenever he came up, I think it was Krug had COVID and we were on that LA swing, Hoffer played well. And I was really impressed with him. And that one wasn't a terrible loss that he lost. So his playoff performance has been very impressive.
Yeah.
I think he's ready next season. I really do.
And if
by the way, Bolduc is playing for
Yay!
Yeah, Shaggy. We'll give him a second. Bolduc, our neighbors are still playing for the Juniors Cup, whatever it is. So I'm not sure.
Can I bring him in now? Yay.
Yep. Shaggy, how you doing, my friend?
We are doing awesome. How are you doing?
Not bad. Best 2 out of 3.
Yeah, we got this.
You got this? Well, you got the home ice for this. What did you see in the last 2 games that was different from the first 2 games with the Rangers? I mean, did the Rangers lose the last 2 games or did Tampa win them?
Okay, so interesting enough, I had this whole discussion with a couple of friends of mine about this exact question, actually. The one thing that you should notice about the Rangers game, specifically last night, the Lightning were not beating the Rangers on offense. They laid back in a 1-4 after they scored that first goal. Now, for those that don't know what a 1-4 is, that means you lay everyone towards your goal. That means every time that they are trying to shoot a puck, there's somebody in front of that net. And when you're doing that, you're playing a defensive game, and I call it the chicken game. Okay, you're scared. You know that they could beat you on offense if you play them straight up, a 3-4. Oh, sorry, not 3-4. If you play them a 2-2, if you play them, a 1-3-1, whatever it is, you're not going to be able to block as much than if you do a 1-4, which is an all-out defensive maneuver. Usually, you do that when you're getting completely destroyed. And you need to make sure that team can't get anything to the net. And they were doing that last night. And that told me that the Lightning know that the Rangers could play on offense, that the Rangers are able to beat them on offense. Now, being that this is so, the Rangers last night, what they did wrong is they didn't score first. You have to score first and not let them get into that 1-4.
Yeah.
They get into that 1-4, you have to sit there and play out of it. And that is a very, very hard thing to do. Now, the Rangers offense did not look bad last night, but because they're playing a 1-4, every time they send in the puck, the Lightning are there. Okay, you can't play that type of offense, and you have to change that up. But this team's not used to that. Okay, they're young.
Yeah, I can see that. I think.
No, 1 second, Guy. How do you get out of a 1-4? Someone's playing a 1-4 and what do? You're physical and push them
cycle.
Away from that
It's a
net.
Cycle. The only way you get out of the 1-4 is cycle. You keep the puck up
how
high.
How do you get that puck? How do you get that puck past them?
Yeah, you keep the puck. Well, you keep the puck up high. You keep the puck up. You keep the puck up high. You force them to come forward.
Then you're taking. Hello, Guy, you're facing Vasilevsky. You're not facing Darcy Kemper. Okay, you're facing a guy who could literally did you see his eyes last night? They were like this. Okay, the whole night. Okay,
Yeah.
he knows
crazy
where that puck
eyes.
is. No matter how much you rotate it, he knows where that puck is. Okay, you have to go ahead and make space for your men to be the ones to outdo them down low. When they do that 1-4, I mean, you gotta be physical. You gotta beat them down the ice. You can't. I'm not even responding. You gotta beat them down the ice, okay? And you have to make sure that you're the ones that are ahead to that puck. And they lost those battles, and the Lightning just got their goals. They did not beat them anywhere. They got some good deflections, got some lucky plays. The Rangers in the first 2 games, played in a sense. I actually have to check this up. I'm very curious if who scored first in these games. So if I look at these games,
I think the Rangers have scored first in the games they've won.
Except for last night, it was Patrick Maroon scored first.
Yeah.
Right. So in game 1, I mean, I don't remember exactly who scored first, but either way, I would tell you this much. I think they only had 1 game where the other team scored first.
Yeah, that was yesterday when Maroon got the rebound in.
Yesterday, Maroon scored first. I have to look it up. I cannot guarantee you that this is true, but I think the Rangers scored first in the other 2 games. Actually, no, they did not. They lost. No, the games they won, they scored first. One of the things that could really help them in the next 3 games is if they could score first. Now, there's another thing they have to realize, and that was another problem that the Rangers did, and this is a bad mistake. You can't have this. Is you can't be sending pucks in and not even making an effort to get it. The Lightning beat them on every board, on every race to the puck, and they had it 5-0. And I think in the first 2 periods, on odd man rushes, and maybe in the first period only. Okay, when you're getting better odd man rushes, that's a huge problem. Okay, because that means you're always playing behind. You got to be ahead of the other team always, or at least even it up. You know what I mean? Get yourself some good odd man rushes. In general, they haven't gotten those odd man rushes, and that's a problem. But you do realize that last night, I'll tell you why I actually am not so nervous from last night. And for any Ranger fans watching, and for any Blues fans, you know this yourself because you were down, 2 in a third period, and you had to find a way to win. Yeah. And you found it. And one of the ways you found it is by adjusting in game. Okay? Now, adjusting in game has to be something in 2 of the next 3 for the Rangers. Adjusting in game. Figure out what is going on. Another thing was that the Rangers started off the game not knowing what the lines were going to be. Because Strome got hurt. Goodrow was questionable. Sammy Blade dressed up in the morning. I'm not sure if you saw that. So, and by the way, my prediction, if Rangers win game 5 and Sammy Blade does not play in game 5, 80% chance he plays in game 6.
I can see that.
The reason why I say win game 5 is if they lose game 5 and he didn't play, you can't just put Sammy Blade in game 6. I know you're looking for a spark, but I feel like you can't just put him in a series in which he has cold feet.
He hasn't played in months. Yeah.
But
I have a question for you, though. Someone in the chat was saying that Bettman announced that if there's a game 7, it's not going to be at Madison Square Garden. Have you heard anything about that?
And no, it's going to be at Madison Square Garden. I don't know what you're talking about.
Apparently, someone in the chat said that Bettman said it.
Yeah, that was something that was put up earlier.
It's going to be in Madison Square Garden. I don't think I'm going to make it there, although I really would like to. But someone asked me if I would. I'll tell you like this. Someone asked me if I would go to the Rangers game 7, and my response was no, not even if you paid me. And he's like, "What? MSG game 7?" He said, "If you ever watch me at these games, I mean, I'd have to bring probably a catheter."
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm with you, my friend. I'm with you.
You know what I mean? Like, I can't take sometimes that pressure. I hope they're in game 7.
I'm with you.
What I can't tell what that person's feeling. Like, does he not wants the Rangers to sweep, or he wants the Lightning to not? I meant not sweep. You want the Lightning or the Rangers? I can't tell. Danny, let me know.
I'm not sure. I think Danny said earlier, go Rangers, but I'm not sure.
How would you like Rangers win 3 Game 7s to get to the Cup?
That scares me because I think that
I
bodes
really
well
want the
for-
Rangers to beat Colorado, so I really would prefer them to finish it in 6.
6, yeah.
Okay, so now let's lay this out. Okay, I actually started doing. Okay, so I have a way that I match up players, and the way that I check. Let's say, for example, I follow all sports, and the way I actually predicted once a perfect bracket in the NFL for the playoffs.
Nice.
I could even show you. I have it somewhere in my house. I saved the bracket. There was a deadline for a $500 pot for my entire grade in school, and I was 5 minutes late to it, and I could have won that money. But yeah. Either way, the one of the ways I do it is I line up the players against each other, and I figure out who has the advantages in each area, and I rate each advantage. Okay, and one of the things I notice when it comes to the Avalanche is I feel like the Rangers' late lines, their goalie, and the way they like to play physically will actually frustrate the Avalanche. And I could see it very possible. I could see it very possible that the Rangers could make this, if they get to the Cup, a real series with the Avalanche.
Yeah, no, that's the one thing I think that the East has over the for the Avalanche, at least, other than Bennington, is the quality of the goaltender, right? I mean, the quality of the 2 goaltenders left are so much better than 2 of the 4 goal. I mean, they faced a 3rd-string goalie against Nashville, right?
Right.
Isn't there a Justin Bieber concert on the same day as Game 7? Usually they just move Game 7.
I will not only not watch that game, if that even pops up on my Twitter, I'm blocking whoever put that up.
No, I like the Rangers. I like Tampa to beat the Avalanche. I'm not a fan of the Avalanche, and I got NHL Network on, and they were showing the Kane hit on Kadri. I'm sorry, that was not a suspendable cross-check. I've seen worse cross-checks than that on an average game.
I'm not a host in this thing, but I think right away we should switch the topic before we get back to Kadri. Although, Guy, I will let you know that if they make the Cup, I am tweeting personally a million times, I think, at Reeves to that we are going to put together a GoFundMe for him to hit Kadri, and we'll pay his fine. I think we should do that.
Well, Kadri's out Kadri's out. He had
Kadri's
surgery.
out.
He's out.
He had surgery on his thumb.
I know, but we can hit him anyway.
Well, it would have to be next season.
Why is that? Whoa, one second. A guy has surgery. He's on the thing. It's not as bad as hitting a goalie.
Yeah.
I mean, you can hit him while he's an injured thumb. Who cares?
Yeah, we all know I'm not a Kadri fan.
But one second. Do you realize if Kadri is out for the Cup and the Rangers make the Cup, round 1 they didn't have to face Jari. Round 2 they didn't have to face Anderson. Round 3 they didn't have to face Point. And in the Cup they wouldn't have to face Kadri. Could you imagine the fact that it was literally like God sent the entire thing if they win the Cup that way? I mean, it was literally like God saying, 1 second, you have a cone here, I'll move that over. You got a cone here, I got that one. But you know what? I'm the one thing that I'm nervous about that still says to me, you should be nervous really, is because the Rangers are not scoring the way I would, they've been scoring in these other games.
Yeah.
These games are way closer than I feel comfortable with. They were scoring nice amount of goals against other goalies, and these games were not low scoring. So, you know what I mean? Having close games like that, I feel like is harder for the Rangers. I know we have the better goalie, but last night Shesterkin was not pressured. Shesterkin had one of the least pressuring nights of his career, I think.
Well, that's the one, like for me, when I looked at yesterday's game, Shesterkin's being a rookie, more or less, came came up. Yeah, I can't say it right.
I can't
But-
say it either, so
Yeah,
Okay.
but his youth was
Fine,
obvious
fine.
in Game 4.
If you don't want to call him Shesterkin, just call him Vesna.
I don't think. I don't know if he's winning it or not, but
He's.
I mean,
come on.
okay. Let's see if I can say it. Shesterkin?
You got it.
Okay.
Shesterkin.
I would love for him to get the Vesna.
Okay.
I would too.
Okay.
Who's up for the Vezina?
Oh,
It's him and who else?
I found this, by the way. The Rangers in Game 1, they won 6-2. Okay, which, by the way, when you win 6-2 against the Lightning, I mean, that's pretty freaking impressive. And Kreider scored first. Okay, so that was Game 1. And by the way, in that game, I mean, that really set the tone for the Rangers. In general.
Sorry, Lance.
If you go to Game 2, they won 3-2 at home. That was a very close game. And I think in that game, they did not score first.
No, it was Tampa, but I can't remember who it was.
But in the first period, they did come back with 2 goals immediately after they scored. Okay, so in general, even though I was wrong about that, in general, you need to score first, and that's something you have to do. That's not a question. That's something you have to do. I'm very interested actually in the way Gallant plays Game 5. I think it's a game that is very interesting to just in general watch. If you're a hockey fan and you want to just see what a coach has to do in a game, watch that because it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, I actually.
You gotta hope that you realize the Rangers are 2-2 with 2-time back-to-back Stanley Cup champions. It's not much of a different team, okay?
Yeah.
Except for the fact that we took one of their players, okay? Besides for that, they really have the same team. They lost Yanni Gourde, which I think was, by the way, a bigger player in their bottom lines than you could realize because of the way his speed and the way he attacked the puck on the offensive side and the defensive side. But they're really the same team. And they have the same goalie. And we know they're an excellent, excellent team. You can't tell me that a Rangers team... Now, if I'm a Lightning fan, I would be pretty nervous about the fact that I'm tied 2-2 with the Rangers because they're not supposed to be here. And we are, in a sense, if I was a Lightning fan, supposed to be here. But still, I mean, 2 out of 3 at home. Rangers fans know that something's in reach that they really could get that they haven't gotten in a long time. And this would be amazing. Here's the scary part, guy. If Shesterkin wins the cup, does he jump? I mean, he won't ever jump the king, but he gets the cup that Henrik Lundqvist for 10 years couldn't. Now,
but different team, though. Different.
You know why that's not a shocker, though?
Yeah.
This is the best at Rangers offensive defense that was ever given to a goalie in those 10 years.
Yeah. Right. No.
I'm actually going to argue, as I don't know if you could put up Jason Nichols. I'm going to argue with that because I think the Blues were better.
In 19?
Yeah, they were better in 19. The way they forechecked in 19, I couldn't have.
But we lost 10 games. We lost 10 games in that playoffs. Well, actually,
yes, but the Blues didn't give up. But what I honestly think is more similar to the Blues in 19 is Tampa Bay, and as you were saying earlier, they're 4-on-1 point. That was what the Blues did.
Yeah. Mets or Yankees, Shag?
I'm a huge Yankees fan.
Oh, man. You just dropped in my book.
Well, I'll tell you something. I'm going to explain to you something, all right? My mom's from Manhattan. My dad's from the Bronx. There is no excuse for me not to be a Yankee fan. My mom's family, she has like 7 kids. I think in our family, the first 6 were Yankee fans. The youngest was a Met fan. So in my books, all Yankees. Actually, my dad couldn't play baseball for his life. He used to duck if the baseball ever came to him. And my mom used to play catcher with her brothers. And she got good at catching the ball. So she taught me, actually. I'm a Yankee fan simply because that's where I come from. And if you are a Met fan, I feel bad for you. And obviously, you must be also an Arizona Coyotes fan if you are a Mets fan, due to the fact that you just cannot win.
Well, I remember the 86 Mets.
Yeah, let's go back to 1986. Look, I could find you a Coyotes team from 1940s. You know,
I don't think the Coyotes were around in the 1940s.
Nope,
no, I
they
don't
weren't.
think so. But yeah, that was just a quote unquote. Very curious. Did you guys notice the fact that Panarin has been different in this series against the Lightning?
Yeah, he has played a little differently.
Yes.
Well, I'm very curious what you're seeing because I have a couple points on him that I'm probably going to mention. And if they,
I think what everybody, one of the things that I don't think people understand about hockey is how matchups affect your play, and I think that the Lightning are playing Panarin very, very tight. They're taking some of his space and some of his vision away, and they're frustrating him. Right, and in a way that he hasn't been frustrated in the playoffs before.
Right, 100%. I mean, I'll tell you, I'm not here to break down completely the series, but I will tell you one thing. There are three things that Panarin's really done differently against the Lightning. He's been faster, which is not something he's done. He shot the puck more, which is something he also has not done. There are rumors, and my host on the New York Patriots podcast actually me and him discussed this, that there must be an injury going on with him actually, and it's not going to come out. And the last thing, which is a negative thing, is that sometimes he's holding on to the puck too long and not passing it. Now, that's been something that's also been in every series, but he's been doing it more against the Lightning. And the way the Lightning play, they're going to let you hold on to the puck, and they may not pressure you right away, but you're not getting many shots through to Vasilevsky. They protect their goalie.
Yeah.
Can I disagree with you?
Well, yeah, sure. I mean,
Panarin's really only had one bad game in that series.
Oh, one second. Ashley, I didn't say he played bad. He's had in the playoffs. He's had 16 points. Okay. Mm-hmm. And he's had 10 goals.
Yes, but I'm even okay. I think it's, which game was I looking at? Game 3 was not good. He didn't have any, or no, maybe it was game 2. It was either game 2 or 3. He had nothing. But in the other one, he had 2 assists, so he was passing the puck in I think it was game 3. He had a goal and an assist in game 1, and he had the only goal last night. So Panarin offensively is not being shut down by Tampa Bay. He's had to get a little bit more creative, but he's still finding a way. It's not like what the Blues did to McKinnon until he had his hat trick that one game, but that was the only game he scored in. It's not, we held McCarr to nothing. So Panarin's finding a way. It just might not appear like his passes are getting through, but he's getting them through.
The great players will find a way, but the other team never gets credit. The player always plays bad. The other team doesn't get credit for the way they play him.
Well,
and that was
this.
something that.
Why was Panarin's known for his passing, right? Mm-hmm. And if you look at assists, he's got 10 assists, so we can't complain. He's got 6 goals, we can't complain. But we have players like Mika Zibanejad and Chris Kreider, and even Philip Hedl, that have scored more goals than him, that have been more effective players than him. But that doesn't mean the guy's necessarily playing bad, because
he's still been effective.
You do realize he had a troubling season and still had 96 points and led us in points, which tells you that a guy like him is going to find his points because he's good.
He's really good.
He will find. You know what I like specifically about Panarin is I feel like he has a feistiness when he plays his offense. He wants to cross you over like Kyrie Irving. He wants to shoot in your face like LeBron. He wants, you know what I mean? He wants those plays that are whatever. New York needs depth scoring in game 5. Depth scoring is a difference in this. Okay. Depth scoring might be a key, but I still think I don't care who scores that first goal. Score that first goal. Get yourself ahead. Make the Lightning have to play behind. To depth scoring, not necessarily. I've always taken a lesson from the Islanders, even though I hate them. Okay, I took in one lesson, and that's the identity line. They didn't necessarily score. They set up the other lines they set up that the other team was tired, that the other team had pressure on them, that there was a physicality that the other lines did not bring. That's what
the Blues did in 19.
That's right. You don't necessarily need your depth to score. You need your depth to be effective and pressuring.
But if they can score too, that's also a bonus.
Oh, no, 100%. But that's not what you want. That's not the point of them. Ryan Reeves, when he gets his minutes on his ice, is not to score a goal.
No, it's to kick some ass.
That's right. Okay, when you have those type of players on the ice, they're not there to score goals. When Tyler Mott's on the ice, he's there to add a pressure because he's fast. He beats himself to the puck. He adds a great pressure. But we're not looking to Mott to carry our goals. Okay, we're looking for him to be a good penalty killer. We're looking for him to be energy on the ice. Okay, which is exactly what he's done, and he's been one of the best players in this series. Okay, if you look at just regular play, if you don't really watch hockey and you just watching the game, you're going to be like, wow, the Rangers, in these two games, they look bad. And I'll go, well, okay, they did not look great, but did you see how
actually Game 3 wasn't that bad? Game 3
I don't think they look bad neither.
So let me ask you this. Against the Hurricanes, they had that Game 1 that they lost on a really bad situation. And they still won this series, but every Ranger fan looked at it and said, we could have been up 3-1 on them. Mm-hmm. You look at the Lightning. We could have been up 3-1 on them right now. Okay, so when you see a team that could have been up 3-1 on someone, they're doing something right.
Oh, I know.
They're not playing bad, okay? Yeah. So, you know what I mean? They honestly played well. So I'm going to trust them in 2 out of the next 3 games to try to get me 2 wins, okay? I'm not going to believe that they're wrong. Now, they don't win and they get out in this series. Once again, great season. You got ousted by back-to-back Stanley Cup winners. You got to the 3rd round that you weren't even supposed to. And now that, although our expectations are always higher due to the fact that they're now in here, you're tied to win this series. If they don't, you can't say that was a failure. You can't say they should have done this, they should have done that. I don't want to see a Ranger fan going, and honestly, I'm not a cursing guy, but I don't want to see people going, F this player, blank that player, he should have done this. Excuse me. You were maybe not the better team in that series, and you weren't meant to be the better team. Okay? But honestly, you have to understand that at the end of the day, you weren't meant to be here, and you're doing a great job. So you can't look at the fact that this was a bad season. I even think that if the Rangers lose this series, that game that they lose, Gallant will come in and give them an awesome speech. You'll see smiles on their faces. You won't see them all depressed and sad. Although you might not be happy that you lost the game, you got far. You're the 3rd youngest team in hockey, and you made the 3rd round.
Yep. No, I'm with you, man. I'm with you. And see,
I just hope they make it.
I take the same thing out of the Blues loss to the Avalanche. I heard someone say, the Avalanche completely dominated the Blues. And no, I say that didn't happen. First of all, you look at Game 3, the Blues played horrible and damn near won that game.
That was Game 1, too.
Then they won. Yeah, then they win Game 2 convincingly. They win the overtime game, but the overtime game, they were down 2 goals and came back. They were down, and they came back. They fought. And then, you look at Game 6, that was an overtime loss. They stayed with the Avalanche. And I'm telling you, to me, and I'll stick by this until someone can prove to me I'm wrong. Bennington doesn't get injured. The Blues are playing for the cup right now.
Mm-hmm.
Well, interesting enough that injuries have been really weird in these playoffs. Every single team seems to have some type of injury problem. The Panthers, the Capitals had a problem with Tom Wilson. The Lightning, the Rangers, the Hurricanes, the Blues, the Avalanche. Look at these injuries coming all over the place. I'm very curious if they're actually gonna find something out. I don't know what it will be. I know that they looked into the NBA, why so many players were getting hurt. I think number one, a lot of players. I'm against this. I think way back when, I'll give you a player. I don't think Wayne Gretzky worked out as much as some players do nowadays. I honestly think that a lot of players work out a lot nowadays, and injuries come easier when you are working out. Hamstrings.
That's a good point.
I can see that. I can see that.
I think nowadays players want to be stronger and faster and better, and what they do is they work very hard on that. And although they have all these nutrition and all these different coaches and all these people that are supposed to work on it, when you are working out more and trying to do that much, even every nutritionist in the world, injuries will happen. Yeah. Injuries, if you look at the injuries, some of them that have happened, they haven't been major injuries. They've been hamstrings. They've been pulled ankles. They've been getting hit by the puck. These injuries are also going to happen. So you have two types of injuries happening, and they're not necessarily because, a player gets hit dirty and he's out, except for Bennington. And even his injury, I'll tell you, it's very possible that if they keep this series going, maybe even Bennington could possibly come back. Maybe. He said
that he thought that he thought that if it went, he might be able to come back in the finals.
Right. So I'm saying he could have came back possibly in the future. Okay. It wasn't like a career. It wasn't a ACL.
Oh no, he doesn't need a surgery or anything.
Yeah, right, no surgery. Exactly. So when you see these type of injuries, also, by the way, a lot of these injuries, and I can tell you from personal experience, I had a torn meniscus and I had surgery. And
same here.
I did, it was during, the peak of coronavirus. And I told my physical therapist, okay, you're not my physical therapist, you're my personal trainer. Okay. I want a hardcore workout. And I worked hard and I got back on my feet within 6 weeks. Yeah. And I was playing basketball, 2-3 months later. Not intense, but I was playing. And I got back on my feet. And one thing that he told me the whole time, he said, you can work hard, but you must rest. You can't work really hard and go right into something, go running. When you're a hockey player and you work hard and you're, working out an injury, let's say you get hit by the puck and you have a hurt ankle or something, and you're working on that ankle with whatever exercise machines they give you, you can't necessarily play that day. Okay. You need to rest that ankle. That ankle needs rest to get better. On the other hand, you rest it one day and don't work it out or do a little bit and take a rest. The next day you could feel surprisingly what was meant to be, let's say, a 3 or 4 day injury could turn into a 1 or 2 day injury. That's why injuries are really tricky, because a guy could get better in 1 day or feel good enough to be on the ice. And we're not all Ryan McDonough who breaks the leg and we ice it and play the series. But, injuries have played a really, really big part in these playoffs. And if I was writing an article, I would actually go down all these injuries to discuss how I think the injuries played one of the biggest parts in the NHL playoffs in a long time. Okay. I think that if you look at the teams that are in the playoffs right now, the Lightning played without point and beat the Panthers. Okay. The Rangers played without a bunch of players, Goodrow, and beat the Hurricanes. Okay. Yeah. And if you look at just in general, the way injuries have played a part in these playoffs, it's more than I've ever seen. Every game, I'm getting a list where we're going part of the intensity of my thing is seeing who's playing and who's not. I see Strome is playing or I see Strome is not playing. To explain to Elijah, I mentioned before, I cannot take the intensity. I'm a very intense person. People should not be around me. Okay, I'm warning you.
He doesn't want to spend the whole game in the jail cell down below. That's where
Game 7. Even if I know it's a good season, and I'll go okay, but for the first 10 minutes at least after the game, don't be
Mr. He doesn't cuss, might cuss.
No,
yeah.
I won't cuss, but
well, you know what, Shag? I got to thank you for coming on, but we're at 1 hour and 50 minutes, and I'm feeling it now. I'm feeling it today, but
I need to drink a little more.
Say again?
You need to drink some more.
Hydrate.
Yep, maybe. But I'm feeling it, and thank you guys for showing up tonight. Great show. We had good numbers the whole show. I can't wait for tomorrow. Good luck to the Rangers as they take on the Tampa Bay Lightning. Guys, have a lot of fun. This is Guy the Hawaii Blues fan. For Shaggy,
I'll be there with Kadri
saying aloha, mahalo, and we'll see you all tomorrow night on the Hockey Fan Report. Aloha!